Hi guys, this is Snodasmannen and I'm the author of the game Galimulator that you see running in front of you right now. This is just a quick video to give you guys some updates and to give you some sneak peeks of some of the features that I've implemented. And some of those, or lots of them, revolve around the Galaxy itself, because I still think it's kind of fun to tweak around and try out some new stuff, and especially when the community has some pretty cool ideas. So what I wanted to do here was just to show you one of the new Galaxy maps that will be included, which, well, is currently innovatively called Square Symmetric. And let me just pump up, let's say, a 3000 star galaxy. And nowadays you can even choose what types of star connections you would like when you're creating the galaxy. So you can go the standard ones, which is, well, basically it creates a relatively interconnected galaxy, or you can choose the middle one, which is web lanes, which is completely interconnected, so stars which are close are automatically connected. And the last one is stars on a string, which was a suggestion by one of the users on Discord, which is basically that every star has at most 2 connections. So it means that it never branches out. Effectively, you have all of the stars lined up in a single line, stars on a string. So it's basically one-dimensional space all of a sudden. But for this one, let's choose web lanes. And what I did was I asked everybody who wanted to, on Discord and people on Twitter as well, if they wanted to be part of a deathmatch. So what this will basically do is to create one empire for everybody who wanted to be in this. There are no giveaways or any prizes, but I just still wanted to show you what this thing looks like. So what we have here is a completely square grid, and we can make it look pretty cool by not drawing the stars, and not drawing the star lanes. And yeah, you can see actually that this looks like a completely different game from the one we're used to see. It's kind of bizarre to see that the game can transform like this. It's still exactly the same game, it's just a different type of galaxy. And we see our faithful guy, our friend Gdansk, who is clearly #1 right now. And next to him is a midlife re-evaluation nerd, which is one of the Twitter users, and they will be fighting it out. I'm rewriting the top list as well, because I always felt like it should be possible to show a lot more information than it currently did. And even this being currently able to see all of the empires in the galaxy as compared to just the top 5 is pretty cool. And especially on PC, where the screen real estate is pretty cheap. You can see, interestingly, that it stutters now. This is, in spite of running even just at 1x speeds, it's struggling to keep up 60 FPS. And I figured out that it's actually because of pathfinding, which triggers some interesting worst case when you have these square galaxies. Apparently it's pretty expensive to go pathfinding in them, or maybe there's a bug in my algorithm somewhere. But that's the problem, I think, and I'll try to fix it before the release. So this is basically just the game being played out on a square grid. What I want to do with the top list is also make it possible to filter in different ways. How to sort it. One of the options will be maybe by tech level, another one is by star size, as we're seeing now. And maybe there will be other ones like fleet size, or I don't know, a combination of star size and tech level maybe. You guys tell me how you want to sort it. And then probably also the ability to be able to decide which information is shown at any given time. Okay, so we have, right now we see Danil Yarantsev, maybe? I think he's a Twitter user having a fight with Josail. And Danil is tech level 2, so he's the favorite to win here. Interesting, Terranium, one of the moderators, is also tech level 2, and it's just them, but he's just hanging out in the top northeast. Let's see if I can push up the speed a little bit here. Yeah, it should be possible to run much faster than this, even when I'm recording. But I'm not really. Okay, everybody celebrated a 10-year anniversary there. So these are some of the things I've worked on. Another thing which you'll be able to do now if you enable sandbox mode is to... hello. is to change the faith of yeah, if you click here you can change the faith of these guys. Let's make them wheelists. Josale is not fighting back against Doric's time. Gdansk is still in the fight. It's just tech level 1, but still hanging on there. Good for you. Josale, I'm not quite sure who it is. It might be a forum member. Or sorry, it might be a Discord guy. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think he's on Discord actually. It looks like the strong favorite to win here. I've disabled peace and all that stuff, so it should be possible to get a draw or anything. Oh, okay, and now Josale is degenerating. I think maybe with galaxies of this size, it might be difficult for anybody to sustain their empire in a stable size for long enough without degenerating to actually win. And now we see poor Gdansk is getting crushed, and it's just Daniil, Dorix, and Josale left. And now Daniil might be the only one not degenerating. Yeah, so one issue with this current view, which I'm just developing, is that you cannot see if people are degenerating or expanding or fortifying or whatever. So it's a bit tough to see what's going on. And you can actually see pretty interesting effects where you have these fleets. They're actually able to sustain pretty significant amounts of territory, even when the host empire is degenerating. It's kind of sometimes the only lifeline. And now we can see Daniil is taking over, but seems now to be degenerating. And then the search might go in a different direction. Josale is taking back. I think that's it for Dorix, and we'll just have 2 contenders for the throne. Actually, interesting. Dorix, thanks to that powerful fleet, is able to stay alive. And I think if Daniil starts to degenerate, it will take back a lot of territory. But here we have a mega clash of the fleets, and I think it will not go well for Josale. I think these stutterings again are due to pathfinding. I just need to find a more efficient way of doing that on those maps. Okay, so let's call this one for Daniil. Something else which you can do now is to sort of impose this hexagonal or square grid upon other maps as well. Sorry. So let's say we want to play on Earth, or actually let's play on the infamously named hollow disk, which is not a ring; it's completely different. And let's let's make that another 3000. See if the theory about the galaxy shape slowing down pathfinding holds up. Let's make it standard lanes. And this time we can choose to adjust the star placements according to a hexagonal grid. And let's try another deathmatch to see if Daniil can repeat his victory. So now let me again maybe turn off stars, I think. Yeah, let's start stars and star lanes and see what happens now. Yeah, it's not quite as beautiful because now there are gaps, so maybe we should play with the stars enabled just to show what it looks like. It looks a bit like a circuit board, I think. And yeah, we're back to square one here with all the competitors back. Diamond Turtle is in the fight. Elijah Williams, Lil Dog, infamous lore creator, and some guy, I think the oldest fan still playing the game. And yeah, Snowdust Mountain is also in the game, but he usually loses these games, so no way. And this is not a fully connected star, so maybe it will take longer, but as you can see, it seems to be a little bit faster. So it means I can probably pump up the speed. Okay, well, when I'm recording, it's a lot slower. I need to get a new machine. And who will win this one? Let's see. I also wanted to add religions to scenarios. Makes sense. I'm working on a couple of new monsters. One of them is dubbed the Twin Monster, which is, some of you may like it, I don't know. It's a monster which basically consists of two monsters that go together. And might be interesting. But then I'm working on an entirely new class of monster, let's say, which can be many different incarnations, and also might be a lot more dynamic and interesting. But I didn't finish implementation of that, so I could show you 4 boxes moving around on the screen. I don't think it would be very impressive. So you'll have to wait and see until that one is finished. Meanwhile, we see some guy who was the guy who helped me configure the initial forum so that they worked. They didn't until he told me they didn't, and I fixed it. And he's got a well-deserved seat at the top of the galaxy right now. But he's behind in tech. We see Josale again performing very well. Tech level 3. Terranium is also holding up pretty well at tech level 2. Some guy is the biggest fish in the pond, but he's also one of the stupidest, having tech level 1. BDB, which I think is the Twitter guy, is taking over. Yep, and Josale is now taking over, and he's eating up much of some guy's territory actually down there in the southeast of the galaxy. And Little Dog has a good tech level 2, so he might take over the west there, unless Terranium actually does it. Cthulhu, which is a great name, he's from Twitter, is holding a lot of territory in the northwest, but being only tech level 1 might be difficult. I think I set the tech levels to very slow. Okay, so that means there might be tech advances, but they're rather rare. What happened to Josale? Okay, they degenerated to tech level 1. Poor guys. So you can create those deathmatches yourself. There's a file called deathmatch.txt in the Steam distribution. Just edit it and put whatever names you like in there, and you can create these deathmatches. And it's kind of fun to see what goes on. Something which I wanted to add actually at one point was basically a way to guess or to gamble even on which empires would be successful, which empires would grow, etc. So there would basically be an in-game mechanism for predicting what was going to happen in the galaxy. But I couldn't really get it to work in a good way, because this is something which at least I tend to do sometimes. I just look at these galaxies and try to predict what will happen. It would be cool if there was actually a game built around us, why not? But I never really made it. We see BDB is only tech level 1, but still is conquering the entire eastern side of the galaxy almost, but some guys holding out. Terranium, brave moderator in Discord. He's got another name there. But I see a lot of familiar names holding out. Just the username is another moderator who is holding his ground up in the northwest, fighting it out against Cthulhu. I'm obviously a big Lovecraft fan, as you might see on some of the monsters in the game. Let's spawn some stuff. There's another one, isn't there? There's a Shoggoth somewhere. Yeah. They are not massively destructive, those monsters. It's pretty boring. It's going a bit slow now. Let's see if we can speed it up. Maybe if we web the star lines, the conflicts will be a little bit more intense. But as you can see now, the stuttering begins, because I believe that the pathfinding is simply a little bit more expensive, because there are more options to choose from, basically. Let's take a look at the religions and how they're holding up. So it looks like we have significant Pingoism dominance. Wheelism is holding on as well. Okay, so we see BDB is clearly dominating the galaxy at this point. Oh, Little Dog is doing his best to hold it off. Diamond Turtle stabbing him in the back as he does. And Malem has a huge fleet, and now I believe that BDB is degenerating, so they might have a chance to pick back some of that territory. It's kind of impressive to see this fleet just cut through the territory like this. I don't know why BDB isn't able to conquer back the territory, because Malem is only tech level 1. here's the other thing. Now I'm regretting making this web star lanes. Unfortunately, it's not possible to undo. That would be something. You can see what's going on with the rest of the stuff. Here's a heat map. There are no alliances. There may be factions, but they are not doing anything here because I've set the... Oh, okay, so we see something interesting. I think it's Diamond Turtle who has decided that he's had enough with peace and order and has gone all will be ashes. And this patch will actually contain a boost to all will be ashes, basically making them last a little bit longer. And it's actually looking pretty cool now, as you can see. So they're spreading throughout Lil Dog, but Lil Dog has slightly lower tech levels, so I think, yeah, once that's petered out, it will not be able to spread to BDB, which is 3 tech levels above. Yeah, that's it for them, and I think BDB will easily just gobble up what's left of Lil Dog. Yeah, because whatever they have here in this fleet will be quickly destroyed by this much larger fleet. And even this poor Elder thing is having to run for his life. Yep, that's it. Good job, BDB. Congratulations. You're now having to fight a little bit with some random empires that show up. Now that there's only 1 empire left, the 2 empire limit is no longer being enforced. Yep, so I'm not sure when all this stuff is going to be out. I'm guessing that, yeah, I need to finish this monster before I do it. Or this class of monsters. And there's so many more things that I'd like to do. But just to show you guys that the game is still in development, it's not being forgotten in any way, and there will be more features whether you like it or not. And that's all from me. Thank you guys. Bye bye.